This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Alongside Garrett Ross, the man, the myth, the legend, Garrett Ross.
Yes, sir.
G-Money. Garrett, I was not here on Friday.
You were not. You were enjoying your birthday.
Yeah, I know. I went to Dallas and celebrated my birthday. I had a great weekend. I think that I'm going to start a travel blog.
Okay.
Or start doing travel content because I found myself in some pretty cool places. And this I didn't find myself in at all, but I'm sending you a video.
Okay.
If I can get it to do what I need it to do. It's not doing what I want. But I'm going to send you a video.
Okay.
And this is the hotel I stayed in Dallas. It was at I stayed at the Virgin Hotel Dallas this weekend. And you know me, I'm a man of simple tastes, I guess. No.
yeah. That's one way to put it.
No. Amanda found this, and we didn't know. We had a friend who was in the hospital up there, and we didn't know it was kind of a dicey situation, but he's doing okay right now. And
That's
so
good.
We were going to go up and visit anyway, and we had planned to go to Dallas for my birthday weekend. And she always likes for my birthday to let's go do something and find a hotel we would normally stay in. Although I know this. I knew this when I married her. I'm never going to stay at a Courtyard by Marriott again.
No. You're not posted up at the Days Inn.
There's no way. So then look, this was her gift to me. So
I'm trying to wait for this thing to come through, man.
Yeah, again, and I'll once the video sends, we'll play it. But I do have to find that here. Hold on. It's just nowhere. This is so annoying. But no, I stayed there, and let me tell you this. Oh, here we go. Found it. It was unbelievable. If any of you watching the show are fans of Sir Richard Branson, Garrett, are you familiar with Sir Richard Branson?
Full disclosure, I am not.
Okay. So Sir Richard Branson is the founder of, you remember the Virgin Megastores, the Virgin Atlantic Records and all that. So there's a larger company.
Like Virgin Mobile and all that?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's him.
I know Virgin Mobile. I know that.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
If you ever, before they got taken over by Alaska Airways, which I think it's still pretty much the same, but they have Virgin Airlines.
Okay.
And Virgin Airlines exists. There's Virgin Cruises, Virgin Vacations, Virgin Hotels. Like, it's a big, gigantic company. He has Virgin Galactic, where he's one of these billionaires who goes into space. And I normally don't support such things.
No, not at all.
But I will just tell you this. Richard Branson's a very interesting guy, and all of his stuff, to me, is very customer-centric to where you are getting the best.
Your bang for your buck.
The bang for your buck's very good. And even if the buck is a lot, like you're never going to feel like at any moment like, hey, like this is cheap. And I will just tell you, the shower in this thing, dual shower, I have a dual shower head at my house.
You got a thing with dual showers.
I do have it, but it has to do. Yeah, it's because it's the only way to go. All right, look, I like to be clean. I like all the nooks and crannies to be washed. And that means dual shower and bidet in a bathroom.
Yes,
they have not taken that plunge yet, even though it's a British company, so I was a little surprised. But the water pressure in this shower was like I was standing in a torrential, tropical rainfall underneath a waterfall in the rainforest. Right. There was not a speck of soap left on my body.
I think I have this thing going. I have the video. Okay. Bear with me. This is a new system. I'm trying to learn this stuff on the fly.
So, if you can...
So it's strolling through the living room right now.
Yeah, strolling through the living room. You might see me in this video. I'm not sure. Amanda took this. Yeah. Well, it's fine.
We're going down the hallway, Paul.
Going down the hallway.
I
need to pull up the YouTube stream so I can give you guys play-by-play of what this is. I haven't done that yet. So down the hallway. Here's the bedroom of the hotel, and it was very stormy in Dallas.
Yeah, the whole area,
Saturday.
man. Like the whole state was terrible.
It was terrible. All right, so here's the closet and makeup area. All right, so now.
Okay.
Here she goes strolling in to the bathroom. Lovely there. There on the left is the that would be the toilet.
Is that a sauna?
No, it's
that's a shower.
it's just a tub. And then here's the shower. Here's the shower in the hotel as I create vacation content. That's the shower right there. It's a gigantic room. And she did not turn the water on to show you, but there's a good chance if you were not careful, you could drown in the shower, which is what I want. I want an element of danger.
You need to know, yes.
Yeah.
There needs to be danger included.
Yeah. There's a sink in the toilet room, which is good because sometimes I've ever been in a hotel where like the toilet's in a different room and then the sink's in another room and you have to like walk all the way across and like you've just been in the bathroom so you don't want to touch anything.
Right.
But you have to on the way to the sink. So anyway, but yes.
So that's pretty awesome.
It was amazing. It was a great find by Amanda there in the design district in Dallas. So I had a fantastic weekend. It was great. So let's talk about how do you judge success? But yeah, Alan's been on a cruise. So let's talk about the big news here in Big 12 basketball, even though we have some football news to talk about all over the place. But look, right here, and he's going to be on the show at 3 o'clock. So in 2 hours, we'll be talking to Jeremy Roach, Baylor's new transfer from Duke. And this is the kind of player they've been lacking for the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
A veteran, three-point shooter, passer, a dog. This guy, he's a fifth-year player. Mm-hmm. He's very experienced. He's been at Duke for crying out loud.
That's the thing to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's been at Duke, so he's been in the Final Four. He's been in the Elite Eight. This is what they've been missing since 21. And if someone has this kind of experienced veteran attitude, and with VJ Edgecombe and the guys they've got coming in and the guys they'll have coming back, this is the exact kind of veteran presence they need to replace Ray J. Dennis, who was consistently probably their best all-around player this year.
No, he was. I think at times he tried to press too much and it got him in trouble. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, I don't know, like
To me, when I look at this, it's a milestone because let's think about the month Scott Drew has had. You've literally turned down Louisville, who, for however you want to put it, I mean, that's still a powerhouse.
I don't even think they ever really even offered him.
Yeah, but I mean, so you turned down Louisville. Then you had the whole Kentucky thing where they're coming out. You were able to turn down Kentucky. You solidify yourself here. You're able to make sure you lock up your future and grow and enhance your NIL capabilities. And then you're able to land Jeremy Roach from Duke in the transfer portal. Like, that is something that growing up here was a fairy tale. Like, you would have, like, nobody was going to believe that could ever happen at Baylor. Are you kidding me?
No.
And then now you're able to do this consistently. Scott Drew he continues to solidify himself as one of the best basketball coaches in the country. Not that it needs to be like he's up there needing to like go out there and his resume speaks for itself. But like moves like this, man, there's not many people out there that can put together the past month and leverage it into a recruiting cycle the way Scott Drew just did. And I don't know that we're ever really going to be able to put the value on that.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, it's just the way that they've done it has been so fantastic. Again, the last month has been just good news after good news. And I do have a feeling that part of the thing that happened, like Jeremy Roach happened really fast from he's considering Baylor to he's committed to Baylor to he's here, was very fast in that. And I think this did come about with the crisis of Scott Drew maybe going to Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think he's gotten the point because again, these things have to happen fast. I think there was a little bit of this going on where, all right, I'm recruiting Garrett Ross. Mm-hmm. You know, he's a big 6'7". You're not 6'7", are you? 6'7"? 6'4". I'll just give you 6'7". He's a 6'7" power forward, back you down, violent on D, dunks, rebounds, you know, good fouls, kind of a guy. All right, he wants $175,000.
Right.
And he calls up and says, hey, can I get $175,000? That's it. That's 25 grand better than his best offer. And see if we can give her 165. That's the kind of thing I think that was happening. Now I think he calls him and says, Garrett Ross, 175,000. They're like, okay,
yeah, we got that.
Yeah. Does he do Venmo or cash?
Right, exactly.
So those are the kind of things I think that are going on that maybe some of the other coaches don't have to deal with. Plus setting up like an endowment and all of that. So there are. But he is the kind of player that can be transformational and getting them out of that first weekend again. And I think that's the kind of guy you need as a floor general. It's going to be great for Jaden Nunn. It's going to be great. Look, if Miro Little stays, it'll be great for him.
Right.
Langston Love as the guy, is essentially is the sixth man. And then whatever they do down low, which they do have to do things low, not to mention the freshmen that are coming in, they might still lose Miro Little. With VJ Edgecombe coming in, that to me seems like a possibility, but right now he's still there. So, they'll have depth at guard. They need to get some depth again down low, but they're going to have veteran presence in Jaden Nunn and VJ Edgecombe and Langston Love and Jeremy Roach to help VJ Edgecombe, who's a super athlete and a scoring machine, maybe even more athletic than Jacoby Walter.
Yeah.
It seems like they're taking little 2% steps up each time from Keontae George, Jacoby Walter, now VJ Edgecombe as far as what they do. And all those guys are really Keontae George, one of the best young players in the NBA right now.
Oh, he is.
So you have all those kind of step ups going on. And so they'll have that to where them losing VJ Edgecombe after a year, which is highly likely. And look, they're going to lose Jeremy Roach too. Yeah. But as far as you have to look at what can we do this year now in college athletics, and how can this year help us build into the future, as opposed to you're just straight building for something. You have to build for now and later in such a different kind of a way.
Right.
Jeremy Roach certainly, I think, helps educate the younger players who are going to take over for him and stay in a really cool way.
How do you think this move stacks Baylor up? Because if you look at what Kansas has been able to do, they're reloading, they have so much talent coming back. Houston's bringing their entire roster back except Shed. Obviously, they're going to address some issues in the transfer portal as well. But what does the move for Jeremy Roach, in your opinion, do for Baylor right now with their roster? And is there anything else you think they need to attack or address to make them compete with the other moves the people in the Big 12 are making?
They got to address replacing Jalen Bridges. They got to replace Eve Misi. Those are the things they have to do. But now that they've got this out of the way, it puts them in a good position to do those things. And they had the kid in from Tennessee. I know that is a big deal. He could certainly help. Jeremy Roach being there will certainly help him maybe commit there. So we'll see what happens down the road with them and where they are with some other guys. But they have to address that. But right now, if I'm picking the top three in the Big 12, it's not changing much when I thought the top three was last year.
Correct.
And I think now it's Kansas, Houston, and Baylor in that order. But I don't think that is a rock solid order. If Kansas keeps Johnny Furphy and then brings in Rylan Griffin, then, that's a team that just can come at you with waves and score like they couldn't do before. So we'll see, where people go. And, I haven't even in the last 2 hours checked to see, who's going where just yet. But nothing major happened in basketball today. So, I certainly think that, he changes the Big 12 tremendously when it comes. I forgot about Arizona.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're going to come in. They're going to be loaded.
Yeah,
too.
Arizona's going to be loaded. So, the top four are those four schools, and whatever fluctuating thing you want to say. And then I think Texas Tech will be right behind. I think Kansas State will be right behind. I'm very curious to see what Texas, how they rebuild.
Well, they're not going to be here.
Oh yeah, Texas is gone. Thank you.
They're gone.
That. So Texas is gone. Iowa State is going to be right there again. So, when you have Iowa State, Tech, and Kansas State right behind, and then what I think is probably going to be a very resurgent West Virginia team, we'll see what Oklahoma State does. I think they
need a year.
They probably need a year to figure out what they're doing, but I like their hire.
Yeah.
And then, I put Texas in there, not even thinking that they're in the SEC now and remaking their roster differently. So, right now I think the top half of the league is that, and then we'll see after, like, how does BYU do, without Mark Pope? How how ready is Colorado bounce back in any sort of real way after they had a really good year?
Yeah. And they lost their point guard. I mean, so they're going to have to rebuild around that as well.
Cincinnati and Jizzle James, like that's somebody can build around.
I hope they can hold on to him.
Does Johnny Dawkins take a step forward in year 2 after a pretty good first year? Again, this is shaping up to be a very, very good basketball conference. So, there's lots of things again to do, like that. The Big 12, and again, I don't think this is indicative of how good a conference they actually are, because they didn't have a good showing in the tournament.
No, they didn't
overall. The ACC was really good, and that we were better all year long. I don't know about that.
It really doesn't matter because sometimes matters.
Again, it's just about the matchups that you get, and where you are. Like, Clemson was generally healthier than a lot of teams when they got there. Like, health is a huge deal.
North Carolina State got hot at the right time.
Yeah, North Carolina State got hot, ridiculously hot at the right time, and found themselves from a situation where they had fans going, "Oh, did we hire the right guy?" to never let him leave.
Yes,
we love him. How many years of eligibility can we give to DJ Burns? That kind of a thing. And so but I do think the Big 12 will be again another ridiculously tough year. Going through, and there's teams I didn't mention that probably deserve to be talked about, but I don't know how good Utah or Arizona State are going to be, when it comes into to be in the league regularly. I don't, TCU's with Jamie Dixon is solid all the time, so there are, lots of, we've talked about Houston and Tech and, that. I think that they'll be,
they're going to be fine.
They'll be who they are, so we'll see how this is. Adding Arizona to this league alone, not to mention, other than the other three, but adding Arizona alone is going to make it a lot harder. Plus, with now having, only with 16 teams in the league and an 18-game league schedule that they're going to play, you're only going to get to play a team a second time 3 times. So, with only 3 get-back games, the league's going to be very different. So, and it depends on what your schedule is going to be. And believe me, if you don't think that those top 4 or 5 teams are definitely playing each other,
every
in some
year,
combination of twice, if you don't think that Kansas and Arizona or Houston and Arizona are playing twice, or Baylor and Kansas are going to play twice, or Houston and Kansas are going to play twice, you're going to get of those top 4 or 5, they're all going to play one of them twice, and then they'll get Tech twice, or they might do
Iowa State.
They might do Drew versus Tang twice because of that. Those kind of things. But I'm sure there's going to be some kind of rotation after that.
Yeah.
But year 1 is going to be about accentuating the top of the league playing each other as much as it can.
I honestly think going forward with now that there's so many teams and you can't do the play everybody twice, that's probably going to be what they do, because they're going to approach that the same way the SEC or Big Ten would in football. You put your brands out there, you get all the eyeballs on them that you can, and then kind of build around it. I think that's only smart. Now, I'm going to be interested to see if Arizona comes in. I feel like naturally with them coming in, just because of the history of both being traditional blue bloods, I feel like there's a natural push for them and Kansas to become rivals. But I'm interested to see if any other teams can build a rivalry with Arizona or any of the other new teams coming in. I mean, I just feel like Arizona's the one that's going to garner the most attention, rightfully so. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then also how do they navigate actually being pushed night in and night out? We kind of wondered that last year with the teams coming in, and I think BYU and UCF in particular did just an exceptional job of exceeding everybody's expectations. So can they kind of stay on that track that those teams took and not miss a beat night in and night out? But I really am interested to see how they can handle that being pushed every single night going into it. And then how does that impact them once March rolls around as well? Because we've seen it hindering teams in the Big 12 over the past, really this past year especially.
Yeah, absolutely. When we come back, let's talk transfer portal. Jaden Rashada, Damian Martinez. I didn't get to talk about Jaden Rashada on Friday, so I'd like to talk about him today and see if my theories hold water on this kid.
Okay.
Cormani McClain is interesting. We've heard from his high school coach, and it kind of like, I get it. Like, I'm seeing it. Like, I've seen it a lot. We have kind of a diva boy a little bit in Cormani McClain. And usually the high school coach is one of two things. And I'll tease it with this. They're either the guy that's like, no college coach can do what I did with this kid. They're all getting it wrong. When you're the one who probably pampered the hell out of them. Or there's the high school coach that's like, we're thrilled to have him. I love the kid, but man, he can be a pain.
Yeah.
And I'll let you all guess, if you have not read it, where Cormani's head coach falls into. And it's refreshing to hear. This is 365 Sports.
If your business is like most, you need things done quickly. But if you're still tying your critical applications together on multiple shared public networks, you've probably been feeling a slowdown. And that's no good for business. A private VPN fiber network can get you and your business moving at the speed of light. Whatever you need, we can build it. Internet, Metro Ethernet, Waves, dark fiber. We deliver custom private networks and are focused on business customers only. Our next generation 100% fiber optic infrastructure offers you low latency and ultra scalable bandwidth with speeds up to 100 gigabit to run your critical applications. Your connection won't be limiting your performance anymore. It's diverse and scalable, so it can grow and change as your business grows and changes. And with a secure carrier-grade private network, you'll have all the reliability you need. Contact UPN today to learn more. Fast just got faster.
This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Welcome back, 365 Sports, Paul Catalina and Garrett Ross. Pierre Newsroom, in case you're wanting to see Pierre's lovely face today, is stuck in his actual job today doing Timberwolves media session, which is more important than us. So
I guess.
I mean, the NBA, Karl Anthony Towns, all those things.
Yeah.
I'm going to, when he comes back next week, I'm going to totally make it seem like he chose Karl Anthony Towns over me.
I think you should.
I mean,
I think he did.
what has Karl Anthony Towns ever done for Pierre?
Probably nothing.
Yeah.
You've never been there for him.
Yeah. Pierre needed me to go up to Minneapolis and help him out. I'd be there in a second.
Exactly.
As long as he wasn't asking me to help him move. And he just moved, so he didn't do
So
that.
you don't have to worry about that.
No. Yeah, look, Garrett, if you called me and asked me to help you move, I would help you find a cheap mover.
I appreciate that.
That would be my help.
That's all you need to do.
My help is not going to be helping you do the most annoying thing in the world.
I don't want to put anybody through that. I'm up top. I understand. I'm to the point when I move, I am paying. I don't care how much I'm paying for somebody to deal with that.
Here's the only people you ask to help. If you have a friend who's got a couple high school kids who got in trouble, and they need to labor off their things. It's also brought me up. I have an idea for a charity called Little Shits. And
I think I have known.
Here's the thing. It's for minor offenses. Like if your kid needs to be in juvie, he's not going to be in Little Shits. But if he's entitled, annoying, you need to teach him about the word a little bit, what you do is you send him over to us, and then we go around doing hard stuff for people, helping the elderly, but you're going to have to move this credenza, 5 rooms over, and then dust and clean, all the annoying little stuff that they're not having to do it. They'll deny refusing to do at home. And if they refuse to do it when they get over to us, they just have to sit on the ground in the sun without their phone until they're like, well, I might as well wash this car because it's at least something to do. Do you think that's something that would be attractive to parents today?
I mean, I think it's an option. It's a very viable option. It's worth a shot. Now, getting the kids to actually listen or sit on the grass without their phone, that'll be
well, again, their parents are going to take, like, they're going to have to surrender the phone.
Hey, now, then I think we might be working with
They're going to have to surrender the phone. They can give the phone back at the end.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that there'll be a lot of kids who are like, look, I just need to get this over with so that, like, my life can go back to normal.
Yeah.
But we'll take them as many weekends as we want. There's plenty of people who need, stone walkways put in and all that. And we're just there.
We're there for you, man.
Call us here at Little Shits.
I like it.
Yeah. They're not delinquents. They're just little shits.
We smacked around a little bit. They'll be all right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
Yeah. See, a lot of people they like that. Like, look, it's harder to punish kids now, right? Than it was in the past because there was an old school generation that felt that nothing was off.
Yeah, that worked well. Off
base. It didn't work well. And then there's another generation that doesn't think you should punish your kids for anything, which those people are insane. Insane. So we are the middle ground of, like, listen, if you have a hard time doing this, we don't.
We got you.
We don't. We don't love your child.
Right.
We just want the best for everyone involved.
Strictly business.
This is helping out. Like, we're helping you, they're helping these people,
right.
And we're all gonna be better people for it. But again, I didn't know your child on Monday when he did this thing and sassed you. I'll know him on Saturday when his weekend is shot to hell, and he doesn't have to like me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care. Like, if little Devin's mad that I made him. Put a whole bunch of rocks in somebody's garden. Well, guess what? I don't have to pay for Devin's college. I don't have to worry about Devin doing anything. I'm just there to help out people in need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the other thing that they'll have to do is, like, you can take a break, but your break is also going to be making sure that the owner of the house is a nice lemonade or iced tea or cool drink while they tell you what to do. Mm-hmm. So you can sit down and have a nice break if you're doing the right thing, but you're also going to help the homeowner. Like, you know what? Go talk to him. Find out something about it.
Right.
You might learn something about the world from this person who's elderly and needs a help.
I really like that.
Yeah. Come to Paul Catalina's Little Shits. We'll take care of your little shit.
We need Jack to get a graphic for that.
We'll give him a little T-shirt. I graduated.
The Little Shits
Great. Yeah, I think it'll work well. I think it'll work well. I think it's an idea that has legs. It's just I'm sure there's a lot of legality to it that you have to jump through.
It'll be all right.
Well, look at here. Like, say you made fun of a kid at school that didn't deserve it, and you don't really know how to do it. You say, you know what? I need to get this kid around some other kids and learn some diversity or some diversity, maybe, but learn about different people.
Yes.
That different people come to different places and they have different feelings and all that. But we can do that too. We're going to take you to a place where you've probably never been.
It's a higher learning.
Yeah. Again, this is life. So anyway, transfer portal news. Let's talk about Jaden Rashada.
Okay.
Jaden Rashada first. I hope this doesn't feel like I'm segueing right to him for no deserved reason. I'm not. But Jaden Rashada had the big NIL deal at Florida that just cratered. Mm-hmm. And it made Florida look really bad. And so he went to Arizona State, which is his father's alma mater, and he was there for a year. I don't know what transpired there. I do know they brought in another quarterback that had a chance to win the starting job to push him, and he said, no, it's fine. Let's do it. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be the starter in the fall. I just know that now that Jaden Rashada has decided he doesn't want to be at Arizona State. Mm-hmm. And if it's option A, if he didn't win the job at Arizona State, maybe he's not as good as we think he is, because that's a team that didn't win a lot of games last year. Or two, it ultimately was not a fit for him and he's going in. Whatever is fine with me, but I think if it's option one, then people might need to tread lightly on being excited about him coming to your school, Because if he couldn't win the job at Arizona State, then that's something you got to worry about.
I think it's a combo, honestly, because like we had Eric Cartman on the other day, Chris Cartman on from Sun Devil Source on Friday, and he was talking about that, and he said, the quarterback battle coming in, bringing in the transfer from Michigan State, that kid's looking really good, and that's something that Rashada really didn't expect. He's also been dealing – he was banged up. He's still trying to heal and everything. I think right now the intriguing thing is I feel like I'm a little hesitant because – when are you going to push it, try to win a spot, and prove it? Like, now I understand you're going to go to Georgia and you're going to sit there and you're going to wait, supposedly. But, I mean, Arizona State was a perfect position that if Jaden Rashada legitimately wanted to compete, and all you got to do is beat out another guy that transferred who didn't start for Michigan State last year. If you're as talented as you're supposed to be, you should be able to get that job, and then you should be the starter heading into the Big 12 year one. I don't get that. I mean, I don't think we're to a point where the money now for these type of players are going to be significantly different school to school. Like, he might get a little more from Georgia. I'm not certain on that. But I feel like it's to a point where the moves aren't necessarily about money.
Yeah, he may not wind up at Georgia at all.
Right, he could not. So, I mean, it's weird. I felt like that was an odd one. And if he does, the flex that Georgia would have over Florida in that, like, that is ridiculous.
I know. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious. No, it would be very funny and would probably get somebody, at least at the collective, fired. I think it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I think this is Hugh Freeze's moment, though. Like, if he can pull this off, and finally, like I say, finally, it's not like he's been there for that long, but like it's been shocking to me that he's been there a year and there's not quarterbacks lined up to play in that offense.
Well, my only pushback with that would be, so right now, if you look at Auburn, right, so is Peyton Thorne still the guy?
Yeah.
Okay, so Peyton Thorne was the starter at Michigan State who beat out the guy that you just left Arizona State to go to. Like, I don't know.
He was at Michigan State, right? And
yeah, but so was the guy.
Then Sam Leavitt. Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, very reasonable point. I don't know what they do, but if I am Auburn, I'm trying to.
But Auburn, I'm surprised that they've struggled as much as they have, because that to me, that was the whole point, right? Like, you bring Hugh Freeze in because he's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer in this, offensive mind, and you're struggling. It's almost like Harbaugh at first with Michigan, right? Like, you brought him in, and it took a decade before you finally got your guy.
Yeah.
And, that's – and I'm not saying it's never going to take that long for Hugh Freeze, but that's kind of where I'm drawing it. Like, you brought a guy in who's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer and get the people in initially, and it's taking longer to expect it. I don't know what's going on and why Hugh Freeze has struggled to find his good QB1 going forward there, but I don't know if Rashada would be the fit for him.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's go to Cormani McClain.
Okay.
Cormani McClain's high school coach kind of echoed Deion's sentiments, like, look, this kid is a tremendous athlete. Mm-hmm. He's unbelievable, but he doesn't want to do all the work that it requires to play at the level yet. Mm-hmm. Cormani McClain has pushed back against that. His high school coach echoed that, and like, he has been such a good athlete. He's been pampered along the way, and when you get to a point of, look, you can pamper a guy so much, but as soon as he stops performing to the level he's supposed to stop performing, then it doesn't matter. And Cormani McClain's a fantastic athlete, but guess what? Everyone at that level pretty much is.
Yep.
Like, you're playing against – I think that's one thing that a lot of these guys don't quite understand until you get there. And because it is a youth thing, you don't understand how good the guy is across from you until you're there and you see it. Everybody on your team was one of the best players on our high school team.
Absolutely.
Nobody who's a Division I college player was one of the worst players on their high school team.
No.
Nobody lucked into this. Like, even the walk-ons were one of the best players on their high school team. So even the guys not on scholarship were still one of the best players at their high school team, which means that they are either athletic and undersized, not as athletic but work real hard, just wanted to go to that school and decided to walk on, and in spite of they could have played a lot of other places. So when you've got guys who are like not even like people didn't recruit it outworking you. That shows you poorly.
Yeah.
When you've got Travis Hunter, who is the equal kind of star rating to you, playing both positions, and his head coach sings the praises of how committed he is to working and working hard, and you're not and you didn't like, I want to do exactly what he's doing and exactly what my head coach did when he was in college and the pros. And then when it comes to doing the little things, you're like, well, I don't want to do those little things. Well, that's why they got to do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that takes you from just being a guy who's a great athlete into a guy who is a legend. Because the legends all work hard. Mm-hmm. They all do those things. Nobody is accidentally a legend by not working hard.
Right.
I know that people hear about Babe Ruth getting drunk and hitting a home run, but I promise you that Babe Ruth really, and he was naturally gifted, but he really worked on things.
Right.
Now, did he party hard? Yes. Could he have been better if he didn't? Yes. But like Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle was a dude who partied really hard, but he worked incessantly hard at being the best hitter and fielder and everything he could. He played through pain. He played through all these things. Yes, it came natural to him, but it also, the natural thing was what carried it through the rough times. Mm-hmm. What carries you through the day-to-day is how hard you work.
I think when I look at the Cormani McClain situation, it reminds me, especially after hearing from the high school coach and hearing from that, it reminds me a lot of the Zach Evans situation coming out of North Shore, where he was one of the best running backs in the nation, had all the talent in the world, but at the same time, he let that over because he was getting so gassed up and he had so much outside noise that he let that overshadow. He ended up, not turning the phone over at the state championship game, had to miss that, hit the portal multiple times. Yeah, I think that's kind of where you got to be careful with, and that's my problem with a lot of this is, and it's not just in sports, but it's really bad in sports, is where you have these people who have been gassed up and told they're the greatest thing ever since they were little kids, and they have a one-track mind, and that's all they've ever been fed. And then when they get into a situation where your talent doesn't match the work ethic, like it doesn't compute, and you're not able to respond well, and then it kind of sends you spiraling out of control. And that's what I'm kind of nervous about with some of these, and I hope that Cormani McClain finds a place and finds the right fit for him and the right coach who can actually reach him, because he does have a lot of talent. But just kind of listening to that, man, it's one of those slippery slopes that I'm kind of seeing. That's just my perspective on it.
Well, look, he's going to have his pick of a lot of places, but the places that have reached out so far, USF, UCF, which are right on either side of Lakeland. Right. So, you go west, you're in Tampa. You go east, you're in Orlando. Mm-hmm. So those coaching staffs are very, very familiar with it. I'm sure, because he's right from there, so they're going to see if they can capitalize on that. But I'll tell you this, there's no one going to know about Gus Malzahn. Like, if you think it's going to get easier just because he's not as famous as Deion Sanders, you're wrong.
Yeah, absolutely wrong.
This is a dude, the only dude I can tell you who successfully for a long period of time contained the ego that was Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Okay, and Cam Newton also worked really – I'm not saying he didn't work really hard, but, that's an ego there, man.
Yes.
That's an ego. Like, Cam Newton buys 2 seats on a plane because one's for him and one's for the ego. So that's another thing you're going to do. Memphis has offered him, and that's fine, but I don't think – and no offense to Memphis or USF, I don't think he's wants to go there, but if he does wind up there –
is it the bag?
It would worry me – that they've just told him everything he wants to hear, and then they're going to be in the same position a year or two from now where Cormani McClain didn't help them out either.
Yeah.
He's just looking for somebody to be a yes man, and yes men are bad.
Very.
It's good to hear things. It's good to have positive reinforcement, but not if it's not genuine.
Well, I mean, it sucks to be told that you need to get better at something or you need to improve, but if you just approach it properly and understand where it's coming from and develop off of it, you're going to be better in the long run. And I just think a lot of people don't understand that, man.
Yeah. No, it's very, very, very true. So Texas A&M on a nice little run so far, picking up Pitt linebacker Solomon DeShields. He committed there today. They also – who else did they pick up? Another player that I'm forgetting right now, but they've gotten a couple here. I had his name out here. It's It's just off in the void. There's so much transfer.
There's so much move. Yeah,
there's so much movement. A&M's done well, picking up guys who can come in and start and play for them and be part of the rotation. And again, it's hard to get excited about a lot of this stuff because who really knows?
Has Florida State done anything that's got your attention?
Okay. So I'm glad you asked about this.
I just need to know.
Florida State has not been able to do anything yet.
Oh, yeah.
Because they, until I believe tomorrow, it might be today, they just had their spring showcase game where a couple of us got hurt, which, again, I shouldn't do it. But they had that on Saturday. It was Seminole Showcase Day. But they were reduced 18 recruiting days in the spring, so they couldn't have many visits. They couldn't have, there were people so literally they've just been able to recruit here now because they had this NIL deal, which I'm going to go on a little tiny rant here.
Do it.
I understand taking the penalty. What I don't, and agreeing to it so you can't appeal. Mm-hmm. What really makes them look stupid is, or without a lot of foresight, which might be a problem that Florida State has given the fact that they're in court with the ACC now on this deal that, basically they're arguing, yes, we agree to it, but it was stupid and we should never done it. Mm-hmm. But you did at the time. But, so what they're punished for is Amarius Mims came to visit. He was all but committed, apparently, but they had to, go get the NIL deal worked out. So Alex Atkins, the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach, drove him to a meeting with the NIL people and dropped him off.
Okay.
Then, a week or so later, mere days, it was not long. It couldn't have been longer than 10 days. Mm-hmm. The Tennessee and Virginia lawsuit injunction comes down where they can't enforce any of it. And look, I'm sure Alex Atkins drives a nice Expedition or an Escalade or some kind of big, nice truck. Mm-hmm. But the Tennessee suit came about because Nico Amaliava flew in a private jet. So I don't care what kind of car that you took a 10-minute car ride in, it doesn't fly.
My thing is, none of it should matter.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. So again, Florida State should have been wait a minute, what are you really going to do to us? And what are you going to make the kid take the bus?
Exactly.
Come on, this is so stupid. And if that, the way the NCAA makes these things seem was oh, this was egregious. And you're I don't know if you ever saw the episode of The Office where they hired the guy that was on the federal work release program because he was insider trading.
Yes.
And Kevin's I just listened to him describe what he got put in jail for, and that sounds like what I do every day. When I heard that that's what FSU did, that's what I thought, well, that sounds pretty innocuous.
But all they did
to the whole thing, as far as what people do.
But see that all they did was take a guy to follow the system that the NCAA set up. How else are you supposed to get in contact with them?
Yeah, I don't know. And again,
what are we doing?
They seem to have violated a very minor corner of the rule, which used to be and the reason they got rid of a lot of the rules was there was you could have bagels but no cream cheese because cream cheese was a delicacy that Alabama could afford, but Virginia Tech was I don't know with your highfalutin cream cheese. We have, butters and jellies that we stole from the Cracker Barrel.
Out of date.
I don't know what they were doing. So, yeah, it was just silly to me that they couldn't recruit. So they can recruit now. I would expect them to be in on all the defensive tackles.
Well, that's everybody.
It's a need for everybody. But, yeah, they'll be in on all the guys that they can get to take a visit. And their pitch will be Braden Fisk. Mm-hmm. Braden Fisk.
Well,
Braden Fisk. That's going to be the pitch. Hey, you see you guys heard of Braden Fisk? Yeah, that's going to be their pitch of what they were able to do for his draft stock. And then wide receiver, they probably want to try to find another – They've got depth there, but Destin Hill got hurt in camp, and they don't know, when he's going to be back. Malik Benson, the transfer from Alabama, who is solidly the wide receiver too.
Right.
Even though he hasn't played all that much, but he's super fast and fits the offense really well. He got hurt in the spring game, although they don't think that's that bad. It's just none of the other guys, Hakeem Williams hasn't stepped up yet. So I expect Kendall Lambert-Smith from Penn State. I'm sure they'll make the Keon Coleman pitch to him or the Johnny Wilson pitch to him. There's the kid from Arizona State. I'm sure they'll make that same pitch to him. He doesn't drop passes, so he'd be kind of that reliable first down getter that they don't quite have right now, or these guys haven't proven themselves. And then again, like you maybe, see him like linebacker, offensive line, like where everybody goes, but they're like, what I'd like to see them do is just, you know what? Here's the thing. Just do what you've been doing. Like, honestly, do what you've been doing. Because it's worked.
And this is any thoughts on the blue jerseys? I loved it. I want them to wear that.
Those are smooth. I would not be surprised if it winds up them wearing them in a game because it's turquoise is the color of the Seminole Indian tribe. All those are smooth.
Yes.
Those were smooth.
So when I saw that, I was like, okay, is this just a quarterback thing? Yeah. But, we need to get this in a game.
I've got, saved on several different websites. Like, here's the turquoise shirt I might get. Not a jersey. I can't be a jersey guy. But, there's turquoise shirts that, No, I liked it. I don't know if turquoise is a body style fit for me right now.
You'll be all right. You can pull it off.
I'll look like an angry bird.
An angry bird?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to look like a
Damian Martinez. What are your thoughts on Damian Martinez?
Canceled his visit to Kentucky.
Okay.
Canceled his visit to Kentucky. On 3 is crystal balling him to where?
Miami.
I feel like it's almost too perfect of a match.
It is. I was really looking at him, dude, the whole time. I know we had talked about Kentucky. I felt Ole Miss or Miami would have been the ideal fits for him. Now, I'm going to be interested to see what that offense looks like because they got a lot of playmakers in there. I just don't know if how well together the depth is for their offensive line to work with there because
their top 5 are really good. Their offensive defensive line is pretty good. Although they've had 2 guys from their defensive line enter the portal. Mm-hmm. One of them is pretty good. The other one not playing. There's, it's so hard because so many guys they've been injured, they've got potential, not in the right system, those kind of things. The other thing is, it's really hard, I think, for coaches to assess, does this guy fit our system? Mm-hmm. Even if the high school is running a system that's similar, because the jump from terminology to high school to college is so immense. And this kid was great as a safety in this system, and then in ours, he looks lost, and it looks like they were doing the same thing. Yeah, but they had 5 calls.
Yeah, he was just
playing
a ball.
He was taller and faster than everybody else, so it just worked. That it wasn't. It's so hard to tell, but I do think Damian Martinez to Miami, it just seems like a really perfect fit. And he's visited. I think he visited Arizona.
He was in Arizona last week.
Tennessee, Tennessee wouldn't be a bad fit for him at all. Either. But I just think that this feels like a dude who might be going to Miami. And I'm surprised that a guy from Louisville. It might just be I would have thought if either A&M or Texas had any kind of opening at running back, that might have been a thing for him. But
I mean, even SMU now.
A&M, Texas, and Tech all have number 1 and 2 running backs.
Yeah.
Baylor is not in the position right now to get Damian Martinez, right? So they're out. TCU, might be able to, but again, I don't know if that's what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. And he went to Oregon State for a reason. Him being close to home doesn't seem to matter. Especially when you look at the places he's visited, he hasn't visited anywhere back in Texas.
He probably, a lot of
Mississippi State he visited, So he's not going to Kentucky, canceled that visit, like I said before. But I feel like this is a perfect fit for Miami. I don't think we're going to get to draft stuff today. Because,
that's fine.
Yeah. But I'll load you up on some mock drafts tomorrow, and we'll go through some things. But I think that one's probably pretty close to perfect as a fit. And we'll see, where it goes down the line. Penny Boone's one I'm watching because maybe he could consider going back to Louisville, but
that would be weird. That would be so awkward to be you know what? I don't want to be here no more. And then a week out, nobody's really coming for you. Be hey, you know what? I think I liked it here.
Yeah.
I think I'll just come back. That would kind of make I understand. I think the players necessarily, some of them wouldn't mind because they'd look at it as just viewing an opportunity. But I would be a little skeptical if I'm staff and stuff about that.
Yeah. No, I would too. It's such a strange thing. There's again, like after that, like
there hasn't really been any big names.
No, and there's not like Cormani McClain and Damian Martinez are the big names. If Tacario Davis winds up going back to Arizona, that was all a lot of drama for nothing. He was with them through the spring. So good on Brent Brennan for keeping him in house for a little while. But, after that, like Keandre Lambert-Smith, who's like Auburn, A&M, like that kind of run, like he'll have that. And, when you talk about the two most intriguing stories, it's probably Jaden Rashada and Cormani McClain. Yeah. They're the two most famous guys in the recruiting circles, but they haven't done anything yet to where outside of potential. And look, if he goes, part of the thing is he going to a place where he wants to start right away? If that's the case, he probably needs to go to Auburn.
Right.
If he wants to go to a place where he's going to be a backup for sure, then like Georgia or Washington or somewhere like that makes sense. But I don't it's hard to get a read on because I thought this guy's going to run away with being the starting quarterback at Arizona State, and that's such a boon for them to build around, but he's already in the portal and at the door. So,
yeah, I mean, to me, like, if you wanted to play, if it was about playing time and setting yourself up in the best position to be a starter this year, you would have stayed put. Like, I don't know. That's the weird thing to me. I don't know if do you think you're going to get developed better somewhere else? I don't know. The whole thing's just been weird.
I don't know. That's a good point because Kenny Dillingham, he's got Jordan Travis and Bo Nix under his belt as, look what I did to these guys.
Right.
And he didn't do that alone for either one of them, but he was a huge part of both of those of, I'm going to take this lump of clay and make something. And he certainly was a huge part of those. So, to me, if you're and again, Bo Nix and Jordan Travis were not nearly as highly recruited as Jaden Rashada.
Oh, no.
So if you're telling me one of the guys you can go to, they're going to be the best in the country, outside of going to Lincoln Riley, there's a couple guys that might Lincoln Riley and a few others that might rank ahead of them right now, but really.
No, I mean, and I think honestly, if you would just look at what Bo Nix in particular, the difference he made really that first year, because he was, coming out of Auburn, he was like a deer in headlights. I didn't think it was going to work going up there into Oregon, but just watching what they were able to do and tap into him was really awesome. And I think if I'm a quarterback and I'm looking at that, and even though it was brief, but knowing that Dillingham helped set the table for that, I would be confident in playing for him, especially if I know I'm going to be the starter. That's my. I don't get it. I don't know. All right, you know what? You guys had a hectic day before I got here. Slightly.
So I'm going to give you 7 extra minutes, Garrett, to get ready for the other show.
Awesome.
That's how benevolent. You know what? I just had a birthday. I'm going to pass some of that birthday love along to you.
Appreciate that.
I went through a gorgeous. I stayed in a gorgeous hotel room. I took 6 showers in 3 days.
Just lived in there.
Just absolutely lived in there. We got there on Friday. We left Sunday morning. We woke up and I told Amanda, I'm like, all right, I'll see you in an hour.
Yeah.
I'm not coming out. I was like Kramer. I'm never coming out. Just, yeah. I could look my phone. I put my phone over there. It wouldn't get wet. Just call me. I can be like, hey, Siri, answer that call.
Yeah.
Turn the water off for a second. Hey, what do you want?
All pruned up.
All right, there you go. Yeah. I was definitely in a Kramer shower for sure. That's going to do it for us. Jeremy Roach, Brendan Marks, Jason Shear, John Cooper on the NFL draft, and Ross Dellinger, and the top 5 spots for Jaden Rashada coming up today at 3 o'clock. This is 365 Sports.
If your business is like most, you need things done quickly. But if you're still tying your critical applications together on multiple shared public networks, you've probably been feeling the slowdown. And that's no good for business. A private UPN fiber network can get you and your business moving at the speed of light. Whatever you need, we can build it. Internet, Metro Ethernet, Waves, dark fiber. We deliver custom private networks and are focused on business customers only. Our next generation 100% fiber optic infrastructure offers you low latency and ultra scalable bandwidth with speeds up to 100 gigabit to run your critical applications. Your connection